Welcome, curious adventurers, to Mysteries in the Dark. I'm your host, Luna Sparks, and tonight I'm thrilled, as always, to be joined by my co-host, my lifelong friend, and my partner in unraveling the strange, the enigmatic, and sometimes the downright absurd. Omar Trekker, how are you doing?
Luna, I'm doing fantastic. Especially since we're not currently trapped in a dusty, dimly lit library with a mystery that keeps us guessing till dawn. Right now, I'm just enjoying the cozy vibes here in the studio. But speaking of dusty libraries and dawn, are we really going to dive into the shadow in the library case tonight? Because honestly, that one still makes me chuckle.
Oh, we absolutely are, Omar. It's one of my favorites, a true classic in our collection of peculiar cases. Our listeners deserve to hear how a simple note led us down a rabbit hole, or, well, a raccoon hole as it turned out. You remember it vividly, don't you? How about you kick us off with what you recall?
All right, Luna, I do remember it. Like it was yesterday, actually. It was a stormy Friday night, the kind where the wind howls like a lonely ghost and the rain just pounds against the windows. The town library, usually a beacon of quiet study, was supposed to be completely empty. Every single soul tucked away safely at home.
But we, my dear Omar, were never the kind to turn down a mystery, especially not one that arrived with such a delightfully cryptic invitation. I still have that note, by the way. It's framed, a little memento of our raccoon-chasing days.
Please tell me you're joking about framing it. Anyway, the note. It arrived that very day, tucked under your door, didn't it? I remember you calling me, practically vibrating with excitement. Omar, you said, you're not going to believe this. And I was already braced for whatever wild theory you'd concocted.
Well, it was exciting. The note, in its elegant, slightly smudged handwriting, simply read, "If you dare visit the library after dark, something is moving among the books." I mean, how could we not investigate that? It practically screamed adventure.
It screamed trouble to me, but I knew you'd never let it go. So yes, you called me immediately. Meet me at the library, you'd ordered. Bring a flashlight and snacks. Because of course, no thrilling nocturnal investigation is complete without a bag of chips and a juice box. My priorities are always in order, you see.
A detective needs sustenance, Omar, and you always had the best snacks. So as the clock struck 9, we found ourselves creeping through the imposing, rain-slicked library doors. The place felt different at night, didn't it? Larger somehow and full of secrets.
It definitely felt like something out of a Gothic novel. Thunder rumbled right over our heads, shaking the very foundations of the building. And then the lights, those old fluorescent tubes, started flickering like a bad horror movie effect. A soft, almost ghostly whoosh drifted through the aisles. Probably just the wind, but in that moment my imagination was definitely running wild.
I remember that sound. It made the hair on my arms stand up. But even then I was more exhilarated than scared. This was it, the real deal. A bona fide mystery, unfolding in the quietest place in town. What did you say then, Omar? Something about books?
Yeah, I remember my exact words. I whispered, "Okay, rule number 1. If a book starts floating, I'm out. Because, there are limits to my investigative bravery. Ghosts, maybe. Poltergeists, hard pass."
And I, ever the fearless leader, said, "Relax, Omar. It's probably just a draft." Famous last words, right? Because literally a second later, from deep in the non-fiction section, we heard it. That undeniable, unsettling thump.
We both froze, didn't we? Like statues in a museum after hours. My heart was doing a drum solo in my chest. I think I legitimately whispered, "Did the dictionaries just fall over?" Because that's the only logical explanation for a thump in the non-fiction section, right? Heavy books.
I was trying to be brave, but even I felt a shiver. "No," I said. peering around a towering shelf, trying to make out shapes in the gloom. Something's there. Look. And that's when we saw it, wasn't it? That movement.
The shadow. It was so fast, Luna. A dark shape, darting between the rows of books. Not tall, not exactly human-shaped, but definitely moving. And then, when the lightning flashed through the enormous library window, it shimmered. Just for a second. That's when I really started to question my life choices. Was it a ghost? Was it some kind of spectral librarian?
It was truly spooky. But that's when our training kicked in, right? I tried to sound calm, confident.
Stay calm, I whispered. We're investigators. We look for clues. Even though my voice was a little shaky, I admit. And I, ever the pragmatist, responded, right. And if the clue growls, we run. Because, self-preservation is also a valid investigative technique, especially when faced with shimmering library shadows.
We tiptoed closer, flashlights ready, trying to pierce through the gloom. The air was thick with the smell of old paper and dust, and the occasional whiff of something distinctly not library-like. That's when my flashlight beam caught something glinting on the floor.
I thought it was some kind of metallic residue at first, like from a sci-fi monster. But then you knelt down, picked some of it up, and held it to the light. And you said it, didn't you? The word that changed everything.
Glitter? I said. I mean, glitter? In a library? It was completely out of place. It broke all the rules of mysterious spectral apparitions. Ghosts don't leave glitter trails, do they? Unless they're very fabulous ghosts.
Exactly. My frown was probably visible even in the dim light. In a library? I asked. That's suspiciously fabulous. It was just bizarre, too flamboyant for a shadow, too whimsical for a phantom. But it was a clue nonetheless. A very shiny, sparkly clue.
And so our mysterious, shimmering shadow hunt turned into a glitter trail tracking mission. It led us deeper into the library, past stacks of forgotten encyclopedias, and through winding corridors of historical fiction. The trail was faint but unmistakable, little specks reflecting our flashlights.
I remember thinking, this is either a very confused disco ball or something far more interesting. The trail led us directly to one of those cozy, tucked-away reading nooks. You know, the ones with the big, comfy chairs and beanbags.
Yes, and there it was. A chair was overturned, a pile of books lay scattered on the floor. Very uncivilized for a library, I might add, and something was definitely peeking out from behind a particularly plump, purple beanbag chair. That's when the suspense really started to build, wasn't it?
My heart was doing its drum solo again, but this time with a full orchestra. We knew we were close, right on the cusp of discovering our shadow. You got ready to make the big reveal. You even did the whole dramatic countdown.
I did. I was ready for anything. A small goblin, a mischievous sprite, a very tiny, incredibly fluffy monster.
Yeah.
I whispered, on 3. 1, 2.
And you, being Omar, did exactly what I expected.
I said, wait, shouldn't we?
Because, a little strategic planning before yanking things away from potentially dangerous shadows seemed prudent. But you, Luna, you're all about the dramatic reveal. You cut me off with a decisive, booming 3.
And I yanked that beanbag away. And we both screamed, didn't we? Loudly. Probably louder than anyone has ever screamed in the history of that library.
Oh, we absolutely shrieked. It was a good, solid, gut-wrenching scream. Because there, blinking up at us with these huge, round, slightly bewildered eyes was...
a raccoon.
A furry, striped, undeniably adorable raccoon. And it was wearing a tiny flashlight around its neck.
A tiny flashlight. I nearly dropped my own flashlight, I was laughing so hard. The raccoon squeaked, clearly startled by our operatic vocalizations, and then it dropped something. Something very familiar.
The donut. It was a half-eaten donut, from episode 3, I'm pretty sure. The one that mysteriously disappeared from the community picnic. It scampered behind the desk, leaving a faint trail of donut sprinkles. I just stared, dumbfounded.
His back.
Really? I managed to say, and apparently he's reading now.
He peeked out again, looking utterly guilty, but also a little proud, holding a children's book in his tiny paws. And the title. Oh, the sheer audacity and brilliance of it. It was called How to Find Snacks in the City. I just lost it, Omar. I giggled so hard my sides hurt.
It was truly a moment. Looks like he's studying, you said, wiping away tears of laughter. And I just sighed, the weight of the mystery lifting and being replaced by pure comedic relief. So the shadow in the library, the terrifying shimmering apparition, is just a midnight snack thief doing research?
Pretty much. Right on cue, as if to underscore the absurdity, lightning flashed again. The raccoon, seizing its moment, bolted out the back door, leaving a whirlwind of donut sprinkles and that glittery trail disappearing into the rainy night.
Our furry culprit making a clean getaway.
We followed the sparkly, sprinkle-laden trail to the back window, watching it vanish into the storm. It was quite a sight, I'll admit. A tiny criminal mastermind, escaping into the night with his literary spoils.
Well, I think I said it best then. Well, case closed. The mysterious moving shadow was our furry, book-loving burglar. It just goes to show you, Omar, sometimes the biggest mysteries have the most unexpected and, frankly, adorable solutions.
And I, in my infinite wisdom, added,
Mystery solved.
and lesson learned. Never underestimate a hungry raccoon, especially one with a reading list and a penchant for baked goods, apparently. I still wonder what he did with that book. Did he return it? Did he start his own little raccoon library?
I like to think he's running a small, exclusive book club for urban wildlife. And always check the non-fiction section for clues, Omar. You never know what you'll find. We high-fived as thunder rumbled again outside. A perfect, dramatic ending to a truly memorable case.
A perfect, sparkly, donut-scented ending. It's a story we'll be telling for years, Luna. The time we were outsmarted by a particularly ambitious raccoon.
And that, dear listeners, is exactly how we solved the shadow in the library. A case that proves not all monsters are scary, and some shadows are just very, very hungry.
Coming soon, our next late-night investigation, hopefully somewhere with snacks that aren't already half-eaten by a raccoon. Maybe a bakery with better security?
Indeed. Or maybe a case that doesn't involve glitter. But until then, thank you for joining us on this curious adventure. Join us next time for another laugh-out-loud moment in the Mysteries in the Dark series, where every clue glows just a little in the moonlight. Good night, everyone.
Stay curious, stay safe, and guard your donuts. Don't forget to follow us and to tell all your family and friends the curious adventures of Luna Sparks and me, Omar Trekker. See you next time.